Okay, guys.
That's part.
Fine. So for you outdoorsy people, you probably already know this, but what have we already talked about going outside? Ticks. Okay, so first,
Nastiness.
whenever we go out and about, especially in the spring, ticks are a thing. And as we know from our last adventure, we had 17. So we're going to try and minimize that. So to minimize that, one, try not to walk through all the bushes.
With duct tape.
Okay. Some of you have tick repellent and duct tape covering your sleeves and pants, so you're good to go. Okay. Where we're going, there isn't really trails. There's going to be like deer trails and stuff, so if you can stick to those at least, then you're not going to be as much into the thick brush. Okay. So when we come back, we're going to make sure we do a tick check, so we don't have any crawling on us. And same thing at the school. Okay. But some other things that we need to be mindful of: snakes. It is the spring and snakes are starting to come out. Okay. And around here in particular, what kind of snakes should we be mindful of? Or rattlesnakes. Okay. So rattlesnakes are endangered. Okay. And actually in this area, kind of like along here all the way to like Osuyas, there's snake biologists who actually tag and track the snakes. And they do that so they can track populations and where the dens are. Because since they're endangered, they want to know these things so that they can keep the populations safe. Okay? And whenever we see snakes, I know some of you are like, well, if it's a garter snake, can I pick it up? No, please leave the snakes alone. Okay? Especially,
I'm gonna name it Viper, and it's gonna be my pet.
Especially if it's a rattlesnake, you don't want to go anywhere near it. Okay? How do you know if you're close to a rattlesnake? You can hear it.
It goes.
It goes like.
Another kind of snake.
And
Snake that coughs a rattlesnake.
they're quite loud. If you hear a rattle on a big rattlesnake, it is surprisingly
I almost
loud.
stepped on a rattlesnake one time.
Yeah.
Rattlesnake went
Now,
after me.
One almost bit me.
With rattlesnakes,
I like throwing rocks in.
if let's say someone does get bit, does anybody know what to do?
Call 911.
Don't
One,
Leave
panic.
them there.
Call,
Go back.
don't panic. Step one. Okay. If you're somewhere where cell service, call 911. Okay.
And they shouldn't run out of the bush.
Okay.
That's going to
Don't
spread the venom and
don't
kill you.
run and get your adrenaline going because it's going to pump your blood through your system and it's just going to spread the venom faster. Okay.
Yeah, just stop breathing.
Stop breathing.
Tie it off.
Okay. Don't tie it off. Okay. Tying it off because it can potentially really swell up and that can be really bad if you were to cut off the circulation to it. Okay. And one thing you should do is if you have a marker or something on you,
Mark where it was
circle the swelling and write the time. Okay. And as the swelling gets bigger, like after like 10-15 minutes or like half an hour, do another circle and see how it spreads because depending on
you
the
survive
severity of
half
the
an
swelling, doctors can get an idea of how much venom was put in you. Okay. Because in some cases you might need to be given antivenom. Okay. Now, some of you may have heard in movies that, well, if I get venom, I'll just cut it open and suck it out.
No.
That is
No.
bad. Do not do that.
It just
Okay.
ends up back in your body.
We're
That's
not-
my
It
concern.
can one just lead to a bigger infection.
We're
Okay,
not that
never ever do that. And you guys are all familiar with vaccinations. You just had those not too long ago. Okay, so your circulatory system or your blood, how it flows through your body, goes through your body very fast. I actually just looked at it this morning. For your blood to fully circulate through your body, it takes like 40 seconds, 45 seconds. So it's pretty quick. Okay, so by the time the venom gets injected into you, because
Why can't we just not wait for it?
snakes' fangs are like hypodermic needles, and they release the venom and it goes inside you and it spreads like quickly. So your blood is going around really fast. Okay, so sucking it out, not a good idea. Okay, so best thing you can do is try to seek medical attention as best you can, so that proper treatment can be given. So my sister and I, way before we were born, but one of my uncles actually passed away from a rattlesnake bite. Yeah, back in the 70s. Because he got bit by a rattlesnake and it had a long time had passed, and by the time he got to the hospital, it was too late to give him proper treatment. So we need to make sure that we are serious about that kind of stuff. And what are some other things that we may encounter out in the bush? Bears, yes. I don't know if we're going to encounter beavers in the mountains, but yes, bears, coyotes, cougars.
Coyotes are afraid of humans.
Okay, now we're in a big group of people. Okay, so animals are typically not going to bother us, okay, unless you bother them. And like how we said about snakes, snakes respond to vibrations and sense vibrations really well. So if we're a group of 20 stomping our feet everywhere, snakes are gonna mind their business and they're not gonna bother us unless we get close to them. Okay? And in those cases, they're going to warn us if we get close. Okay? And if you do hear it, please let me know, because I need to let the rest of you know so we can leave the snake be, so we don't bother. Right, Abby? Thumbs up. There we go. Okay. Any other things? Okay. Some other things I need to let you know. So I've told you before that I am allergic to bees. So I carry an EpiPen in my backpack. So in case of emergency, it's in there in one of the back pockets. So it's back here. Okay. Has anyone
I've been
ever
stabbing him.
has anyone ever seen or used an EpiPen before?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how to use it?
You gotta hold it in your.
Okay. Do you know what the saying is?
I get to stab.
I'm all like.
There's a special little saying for these guys. Do you know what it is?
Something.
Blue to the sky, orange to the thigh. Okay? So what you're supposed to do is pull this out, smack it into your thigh, count to 10, make sure it all goes inside, then remove it out. Okay? Because yeah, like you want to get like a fleshy part. Okay?
I love how some of us are taking dibs on who gets to stab.
Who wants to stab me with the EpiPen? So with this, okay, you need to make sure that when you hit it, that you hold it. And that's the reason why they never let the person who has having the reaction do it, because they might pull out too quickly because of just hitting themselves. So always have someone else do it.
Do we have to like hold you down?
No.
Are you afraid of needles?
I think
I'm not
Abby's
afraid of
very
you, so-
excited to stab
So we're okay.
you.
Now, any other questions about the wilderness and nature safety and things? Are we? When are we going? We're going pretty quick. All right, I think we're good.